Hey guys, this is a video from Art of Deduction. His channel got removed. It's not the full interview, but it's just like the part that I have. So I figured I would upload it for people to watch because it's pretty interesting and it's like a first-hand account of somebody who was there searching. So let's get into it.
13-year-olds Liberty German and Abigail Williams went missing Monday. The girls were last seen near an abandoned railroad bridge known as the Monon High Bridge around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The girls were dropped off near the bridge to walk around and hang out. They had made arrangements to be picked up by a family member later in the afternoon. But when it came time for the girls to be picked up, they never showed up. Girls haven't answered their phones since around the time they went missing. Many are on an extensive search to find them.
Ravines, ditches, trash cans for phones, any sign of the girls, and anything we can find to just find them.
So Eric Williams was one of the searchers that was out there, and he is not related to Abby Williams. He is actually Libby's mom, Carrie, her stepbrother. I think his name's like Joe Bridge or something like that. And it's his like best friend. And so those two were out there searching together. And so that's who he is. He's not any relation to Abby Williams. So let's get into it. Also, one more thing is he was also interviewed by Ruckus Rocks. And so if you want to hear like his other interviews, go to Ruckus Rocks and watch the interviews there. I'm pretty sure he still has them up. I can actually look and I'll try to link them in the description.
And I'll tell that someone, no matter who it is, that very well might be that I slipped at my tongue. You know, I am human. I do, my memory comes in and goes out just like theirs and any other human on the face of this earth.
Exactly.
So
a lot of people tend to forget that, and they make like a big case out of it. And I think because I talked to a lot of people, and I said, no matter what, I want to talk to this guy. I would, without a doubt, because I already said, see, I know this case by now. I know it pretty well. And when somebody reads a comment, like a friend of Abigail Williams, they're like an acquaintance. They don't know that person like specifically, and if they make like a slip of a tongue, that does not necessarily mean that it doesn't mean shit, you know?
no, it don't. Like I said, everybody's human. Today I can hear something today, and I can reflect upon it immediately, and say something immediately. But then I can think about that tonight and reflect upon it tomorrow and have a different, in my opinion, or thought of it. We're all human.
But at least from that's why I contacted you, because I was researching those tracks, you know, and the ATV, what Anna Williams eventually said, and I was like, holy shit, because people leak text, you know, and I find that interesting, and I want to debunk them. But this one I did not want to debunk. I want to verify it. So that's why I made contact with you. You saw tracks, and I was doing research on tracks, so that's how we came across. So you were saying,
I can,
go ahead,
dude. I can even remember the track pattern of that track. Okay, like that's how distinct that track set in my mind that day. Like I can tell you that was it was like a triangle, like an arrow type pattern on their tire. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember that track in that mud going up that hill.
So it was fresh, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
what do you see more?
Man, I tell you what can't leave my mind, okay? Here's the things that can't leave my mind. I came in from a county road and I walked the tracks, okay? This track line was completely impassable, okay? Nobody had walked these tracks for I'm telling you, years. Nobody. There was trees coming up through the whole entire track line down the center of it. It was impassable. There was moments that even I struggled to go through, and at that point in time, I was very strong, very much in my prime, and very, very apt to being out in those conditions. Okay. And it was tough for me to pass through. If that tells you how impassable this track line was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just thick brush all through it. Where the ground was uneven, there was trash that had accumulated and rotten trees that had fallen. You had to watch your every step. So that's one of the first things that stays on my mind is there wasn't, to my opinion, any type of access to or from that direction. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then so as we push forward and we go on through, and then we get to where we're going down the hill line. All right, and I'm starting to see it's clearing out. Everything's starting to be where somewhere along the years somebody's cleared it out, cleaned it up, made it like their yard, or so to speak.
Yeah. But
yet had been let go. It wasn't like pristine or nothing like that. It just been somewhere in the recent years that somebody cleaned it up, and then it started overtaken again. Yeah. So you had little brushes growing, little saplings, and stuff like that. It just wasn't real thick, side by side, impassable terrain. And so we get to the bottom of this hill, and I see this trail going up, which is very common in Carroll County for all your riverbeds. There's a farmer will take a dozer or backhoe, and they'll create a drive line.
Yeah.
Access the creek for camping, fishing, whatever it is they might be doing. Some of them might use it for cattle to get the drinks of water, whatever. But it's very common. So at first thought it didn't hit me until I got to the bottom, and I kind of looking around, and I seen the tracks coming out of it, and I got to looking a little closer, and I could see the tracks going back up it. Like I said, one set of tracks, one set coming down, and it goes back up. At that point, we're pushing on, and I start seeing deer antlers and skulls of, I believe, was a rabbit in the tree.
Was it like hanging in a cord or something, or just like literally in a tree?
They were decapitated, just the face of the skulls and the antler, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were just that, like, how a tree will fork. So they weren't even like hanging on a broken branch so that they'd stay put. They were just resting in the forks of trees. You know what I mean? Just like placed in there.
Placed in there,
yeah. Yeah. And it was almost like it, it had to almost be recently placed in there because, like I said, it wasn't like a limb coming through the eye socket of this deer skull or this rabbit skull. It was just resting there. So when the weather and winds would come through, you would think that stuff would fall out of them trees as they sway around. Mm-hmm. Which leads me to believe that they was recently done. And then right close to the bottom of that hill where I noticed the tracks, that's where the pile of bones were. And I'm going to tell you, there was all types of bones there. Like I could identify squirrel, rabbit. I could identify, it appeared to be a dog or maybe a coyote. There was deer. There was other large bones that I just assumed was cattle or hog. Again, some of the
now to think of it, you think like the things that I told you, it could be anything, right?
Man, I'll tell you what was entering my mind at that point is that there's some type of satanic cult, and this may be where they practice. Mm-hmm. That's what was kind of entering my mind and my thoughts at that point. And then so we, keep pushing on. No signs of anything, no trails, no drag marks that I noticed. I'm not no type of private investigator, detective, or anything like that, but I tell you, I do pay very close attention. And a lot of my friends and people that know me say that I am a type of a detective. So that all that stuff comes natural to me. So as I'm going on, we get up, we walk up the tracks on through, and we get up to the trestle area. It was like pitch dark at that point, and there was several people standing in the area. And so I'm going up and I ask one of the guys, because I go during the daylight, I didn't have a flashlight in my hand, I didn't. And so I go to cross these trestles, and I believe it was a fireman. I'm not positive on that. Like I said, it was dark. I was tired. My mind was already in one of the worst places possible for these little. I already had a gut feeling this wasn't going to be a good turnout. Possible for these little. I already had. And they tried to tell me I cannot pass through. Like, all right, first off, no, she's not my daughter, but I'm treating this as if. This is my friend's daughter, and I've been asked by my friend to come on scene and to help identify or find them.
No, I know what you mean. Even though a lot of people will act bullshit up, and by the way, I am recording this, so do not worry about it. But a lot of people go like,
I don't care if you record nothing, man.
No,
Like,
but just in case, that's why I kind of wanted to not to blackmail you or anything. That's why I wanted you to go on like live and actually tell people that, because there are a lot of people that want to ask you questions, and that's more of that day, not because you were it, but dude, you were across from those girls,
From the way you showed me that map, man. Yeah. So, all right. So I tell this guy, hey, give me that light, and I'll shine that, because he had a pretty powerful light, like it was huge. And I said, give me that light. I'll shine a light from a different perspective than anyone else is seeing at this point. Like I told you earlier, I think outside the box. Period.
That's good.
Like, there was nobody on this trestle, which struck me to be wrong and odd as all hell wouldn't have it. First off, there should have been, dude, if I had a bigger truck than what I had, or, I didn't even drive myself, but had I had a big truck with big tires, I'd have drove my truck out in the middle of that fucking trestle and shied spotlights off from it. Like I'd have lit that whole entire place up like a football field, bro. And, they had all the means to do that and didn't. And so it really struck me odd that this was their focal point, that this was where they, because I believe that's where the girls was supposed to be meeting up with their father to get picked up. And so that was their focal point. And for them to not have it lit up like 4th of July just astound me. So, that's another point that just stands out in my mind so bad it's not funny. So I said, give me that light. I'm going across these tracks. You are not going to stop me. No one here is enough to stop me. I'm going across those fucking tracks. And so the guy says, well, you're not getting this light, and you're right. I can't stop you. Just be careful, man. It's very dangerous. The trestles are a lot further apart than they look. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, people take pictures of them on this trestle all the time. Like, how dangerous can it be? So he gives me a smaller light, him or someone else, I believe it was, gives me a smaller little light so I can see what I'm doing. And, dude, I'm going to tell you again, it was a struggle to get across those trestles. And even in the daylight would have been a struggle. Though they were rather far apart. They were half rotted, so the edges of them was just splinters. So if you step too close to the edge, it would splinter off and fall and make you think you were going to fall. Like it was a process to get through there. And so I did. I crossed over them trestles, shining down in, thinking these girls did fall through. Are they hanging on up in the middle of these trestles somewhere, and you just can't see them from the ground up? There's so many possibilities. And so I was going through, watching where I was going, looking, and I crossed the trestles, and if I remember correct, I'd done an immediate right where I met up with my buddy. He wasn't crossing the trestles.
Was a buddy of yours you were with? I can't recall his name, but he.
Oh,
That's a
I'll
small
be
one.
honest. Again, with the respect factor, I'm not going to put his name out
No, that's
there.
fair. But I recall some. I have some pretty good sources, and he kind of declined on the fact. Well, at first he said like, yeah, animal antlers on a tree, that's pretty normal for that year, and then he recalled that back and went like, yeah, that's not true. I mean, animal bones, sure. Animal antlers on a fucking tree, nah, that's not correct, man. That's some shady bullshit right there.
Well, again, I hadn't talked to him about this case. We hadn't talked to each other than, hey, how you doing? We need to get together in some time. Um, you know, this whole case kind of,
Yeah, the,
we all just kind of moved on our own lives in separate ways. There's no hard feelings. I kind of know where he stands, which is why I didn't say his name. He just kind of wants this all to pass him. It's ate him up
yeah,
inside and out, which is very understandable, man. I
it
mean,
is. It is.
that's something that I couldn't wish upon my worst enemy, like flat out. Um,
Deputies, firefighters, and local police are checking every crevice and nook.
Looking for answers, looking for the girls.
But so are others from the community. And many of them say they won't stop looking, even if it takes.
Daybreak, fall over with exhaustion. Honestly, I hope they're just hidden up somewhere, scared to be in trouble.
Alexis Moberger, News 18.
There was a lot more to this interview, but this is the only part I had, so I just figured I would upload what I do have, and I'm just going through my files, and I'm gonna like re-upload videos that I think are good videos that people like maybe miss or like have interesting tidbits and stuff. So if you are interested in that, then please like, subscribe, share, put on the notification thing, and I'll just like upload whatever I can that I think is interesting. Please leave your comments below, and thank you for watching. Bye.